We are talking about the launch of the Multiple Sclerosis Support Foundation and the celebration of World Multiple Sclerosis Day 2018. Joining us on set, the executive member, Multiple Sclerosis Support Foundation of TNT, Atiba Phillips, and a member, the Multiple Sclerosis Support Foundation, Jillian Rodolfo. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, thank you.
Good morning, thank you.
What is multiple sclerosis?
Multiple sclerosis is a disorder of the nervous system where the myelin sheath, the covering of the nerves in your spine and on the brain, get corrupted for some reason, and there starts to be, think about it like wires. When the coating gets eroded, there can be some sparking, short circuiting and so on. And depending on where that happens, it can affect different parts of the body. So you can have a wide range of issues depending on where that happens. So people suffer from fatigue, from weakness, muscle weakness, which of course impacts mobility and will sometimes lead persons into a wheelchair. It can pains of various types in various areas. One of the things is the optic nerve also is sometimes affected, which could lead to blindness. So there are a wide range of issues, but the core of it is this loss of that protective covering over the nervous system and into the brain.
How common is this?
It's not very common. I think in Trinidad, the estimation there are about 200 to 300 persons with the disease. Worldwide, it's about 2.5 million people. And it's not something that has a cure at this time. So it really is a situation that needs to be managed and caught early and treated and so on, rather than cured. So research is a big deal towards finding the cure for MS.
Is it also fatal?
Yeah, it certainly can result in death over time, right? There's a gradual degeneration that can be the case, which could eventually, bring death, yes.
And Ms. Rodolfo,
Yes.
the Multiple Sclerosis Support Foundation of Trinidad and Tobago, what is its purpose?
Okay. The purpose for this foundation, which is new and is going to be launched on the 2nd of June at the Marriott Hotel, is to bring awareness and support to our members, to reassure them that we are there for them, in the sense where we have, at the moment, we are seeking to get partners as far as in the medical field and different fraternities, healthcare providers, to assist us in providing support for our members.
How many members do you currently have?
Atiba, can you help me there?
I think there are about 50 or so that are sort of signed up with us. And part of what the goal of the MSSF is to do is to get a comprehensive database of persons with MS in Trinidad and Tobago, as Ms. Rodolfo was saying, along with their caregivers and the support network around them, which are the healthcare providers, businesses that supply medical products, caregivers, like people to take care of persons with MS and so on. And to that end, one of the things that we're going to launch on the 2nd of June is a website which includes a patient portal kind of thing, support group portal, where we'll register not only the members, but also other persons in the healthcare fraternity, caregivers and businesses who can play a role of support for persons with MS in Trinidad.
Wonderful. And why did you decide to be part of this particular organization?
I was invited by Dr. Phillips,
Who's the president?
Who's the president, because of my story with MS. Something Atiba didn't mention, multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune disease, and it affects each person with the disease differently. And for me, when I attended a couple of the meetings and I was asked, so who's the patient? Are you the caregiver? And no, I am diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And I would like to try to share with persons it's not the end of the world. Figure out what affects you, how it affects you, do what the doctor says, and you don't have to be in a rut or get depressed, because that can happen because of the severity of the illness. And I would like to be a part of this foundation to lend support to persons that need somebody to call, to talk to, just to give support, to say, hey, we are here for you. It's going to be okay. What do you need? How can we help you? So that's my role.
So personally, you realize that that sort of support was not there for you personally?
Oh, no. For me, I have great support. I still do.
Okay.
And it is needed for persons with multiple sclerosis, because some days you are fine and within the day you feel sad, you're in pain, and it's different for everybody. Some persons are not able to work, they're in wheelchairs, you know. So it's a total life-changing event that when you are told you have multiple sclerosis, if you need to know, well, to start with multiple sclerosis, there are 4 types, and you need a proper diagnosis, because it can be misdiagnosed, and if you're not diagnosed properly, you could be mistreated, in a sense, not mistreated physically, but yeah, without a proper diagnosis. So you need to be diagnosed properly and get the proper treatment and follow your doctor's instructions, because you'll be going downhill fast.
Were you able to get the proper treatment here in Trinidad?
Oh yes, medication is available in Trinidad and Tobago for persons with multiple sclerosis, and it's actually free, thank God, because it's very expensive. A month's supply of medication is like $10,000 a month. So, and it's an injection that we inject ourselves every other day. If that is not available, sometimes it's not, based on importation restrictions or government funding for medication, as we all aware of. There's also another drug, it's a steroid that is taken intravenously. You must be admitted to hospital to have it done, and it will kind of balance off your system, because what it does, it will continue to suppress the immune system to say, hey, take it on. And that will last for like a month. Other than that, you need to continue on your medication. It's something called beta interferon. There are different types of medication as well. There are 4 different types of multiple sclerosis. So a person with multiple sclerosis needs to figure out or be told which type they have and use the correct medication to support yourself, yes.
And Mr. Phillips, why did you decide to be part of this organization?
Well, first of all, for a number of reasons. One, I have a family member who has multiple sclerosis, so we've been living with that for the last 20 years or more, or somewhere around there. Yeah. So I understand the impact it has not only on the person, but on the community surrounding the person. And also, I run a technology company, and I felt also that the technology can be used to assist these sort of patient groups, like the multiple sclerosis group, to really, again, as I said, reduce that friction in terms of accessing healthcare, right? And so putting a support network around the patients so that they can get best advice. One of the things that this support, it was constituted in May 17 last year, 2017. And one of the things that the foundation does is organize clinics for members, massage therapy, occupational therapy, information services, as Ms. Rodolfo said. There are 4 different types of multiple sclerosis, relapsing, remitting, where you have an event and then you sort of go back to normal, but not quite to normal, right? And there's secondary progressive, where it continues, primary progressive, where you just, you don't necessarily have relapses, but you continually get worse, sort of thing. You get your symptoms act up more and more. And then primary relapsing, where, I think that's the most aggressive. Only about 5% of persons with MS have that, where it's progressive, but then it relapses, so you jump in terms of your symptoms and how it affects you. So you have to know, again, what type of MS you have, what kind of things to expect, how to manage your own expectations. You understand what's happening with you, right? One of the things that happens sometimes is that people contract MS or get MS or get an initial attack, and they don't know what that was, right? And the medical fraternity is not always sort of acute in terms of diagnosing it. So you can go through all types of very expensive meanders before you get at it. So another thing, so that's some of the stuff that the foundation does, is to give advice, give information, and hear stories of other persons who've been down that road and who are doing quite well, or at least coping with the disease, so that you have some context and you can better treat with your own situation.
Is it inherited?
I think the research says that if a family member has it, then you may be at slightly higher risk, but I don't know that it could be said that it is inherited per se. I think there's something genealogy, but not necessarily inherited.
Nothing confirmed.
Yeah.
Autoimmune disease.
All right. So I'd like to talk to Ms. Rodolfo about her experience. You said it was a life-changing event. Walk us through that.
Wow. Initially, I was experiencing symptoms that were different. Numbness in my fingers, numbness in my leg. I had a transport company, so I used to do a lot of driving. And one day I was like, what's wrong with my foot? Can't walk properly. Go to the doctor. Oh, you're sitting too long. All right. 2 months, 3 months passed. Oh, I was feeling fine. Back to 100 driving. Good. Couple months passed again. Symptoms got worse. Now it's in my fingers. Whoa. Decided, I called my cousin and I said, something is wrong. I need to go to the doctor. I can't unbutton my pants. I need to use the toilet and something is not right here. I need to go to the doctor. Okay, so we go to the doctor and I was told, oh, we're going to do some CT scans, stuff. Okay, you have some fibroids resting on the nerves in your back and you need to do a hysterectomy because that's what causing. I was like, okay, sure, when can this be done? Because I need to fix this, I need to be well. No problem. I go home. On the way home, my cousin's like, Julie, that's not sounding right. See, let's go to a gynecologist, okay? Gynecologist says, no, yes, you have fibroids, but no, that's not your challenge. I'm referring you to a neurologist, okay? And in the interim, go do an MRI. I don't want to tell you something that is not, you need to do an MRI because if yes, you have fibroids, but that is not your problem. Okay, do the MRI, take the results back to the doctor, and I was told you need to be hospitalized because at that point, this would have been about 6 months later after the onset of my symptoms, I got worse. I had lost my mobility. I had lost my motor skills. I thought I was getting a stroke. I couldn't feed myself. Drama. So took the results to the doctor and he told me, you need to be hospitalized. I said, okay. So what's the challenge? You have multiple sclerosis. Okay, so how long do I have? What do you mean? No, Jillian, you need to understand. Multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune disease. Okay, so am I going to get better? There's medication that will assist with your symptoms. There's no cure. What? Okay, so what's the next step? I was in hospital for 14 days. It was very humbling because for me, I was always a person to do stuff, very active. Julie, I need this done. Let's go. Done. Tours, driving, take my friends, my family, have fun. And here I'm on a bed. I can't feed myself, can't comb my hair, want to use the toilet and can't go. What is going on? For me, as I said, was humbling. And in that time, I would say I found God. My faith increased. And it was overwhelming and yet humbling. And thank God for the support of my friends, my cousins, my brothers that journeyed with me through this experience that has helped me today. That Dr. Span came to the hospital one day and he said, I said, Dr. Span, I need to go home. I can't do this anymore. I need to go home. I couldn't do this. And he said, in 2 days, if you can do this, you're home. I was like, what? Really? I did piano lessons when I was a child. I could do that. And in 2 days, I was ready to go home because I told myself, this is not going to take or get the better of me. I need to be back to where I was. I want to drive again. I want to do tours. I want to be woohoo, you know, and again, with the support of my friends and my brothers and my mom, here I am to give support to persons with multiple sclerosis that feel down and sad and know that it's that we could do this, we could do it together, and it will be well. And keep your faith and believe, trust God, because there's a reason for everything, and a lesson in everything for somebody to learn, whatever it is.
You know, it's amazing. And all of that, she said she found God.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes, and even the Bible says his strength is made perfect in our weakness, and I'm sure you could relate to that.
Okay.
Our closing comments, what would you like to say to those looking on? When is this event actually taking place? Just remind us.
Right, so it's on the 2nd of, World MS Day is on the 30th of...
MS Awareness Day.
World MS Awareness Day is on the 30th of May, which happens to be in Trinidad be on Indian Arrival Day. So we're having our launch on the Saturday after that, the 2nd of June, at the Marriott Hotel in Port of Spain. It's from 9:30 a.m. and you can visit the website mssft.org to register. It's free. So we look forward to people coming down, supporting, understanding more about the disease and how they can contribute and assist out the cause.
Wonderful. Is there a number to call as well?
Yes, 741-9585.
I'd like to thank you all so much, and thank you so much for sharing that very touching story.
Thank you.
And sharing how this thing that was so negative turned into a positive in the end, with you, finding God in all of this and strengthening your faith. And thank you also for sharing your experience. Indeed, a pleasure. Best of luck with this initiative.
Thank
Keep
you.
up the great
Thank you
work.
for having us.
All right, so we take a short break. A lot more when we return.